Okay. Okay. I know it's been a while. Specifically, some people have messaged me about, hey, where's your December update? I've recorded a December update several times. The reason that I don't publish it, and this will be the third time I'm recording it, the reason that I don't publish it is that every time I do it, it seems very dark because the update is dark. It's rather bleak, but I figure there's a better way for me to do it. Also one that will maybe get me in less trouble with some of my friends and some of the people I know who want to sell Ecuador, right? So first, let me just tell you, I still love Ecuador. I'm here, right in the middle of all this, and I still love Ecuador, all right? I'm not going anywhere. There you go. Take for that what you can get from it. But let me start in summary that the security and crime update is not good. It's not good. Also, everything I'm about to tell you is going to get worse before it gets better. In fact, I'm not really sure when it's going to get better. Not having a bad attitude, it's just that I can see it getting worse and I don't see any fixing of it. And I'll get into the political aspect of that in a moment. Basically, and I love Ecuador, I do, but Ecuador has spent its time punching itself in the nuts, and it just continues to do so, and no one wants to stop. So what do I mean by that? There was a referendum, okay, a referendum where the people went to vote. A lot of people are really upset with the fact that Noboa, who's the current president, has not been able to root out all the corruption, stop the violent crime, keep anybody safe, and basically not fulfill a lot of his promises. The corruption is a really big deal here. It's a huge thing. It's one of the most reliable things in South America in general is corruption. You know, like if you're unsure if the government will tax you and you're unsure if there's corruption, I don't even know where you are because, like, honestly, here, this is what's going to happen. Those things are 100% real. First of all, let's just go through all the stuff that's just bad. It's just bad. Violent robberies are up and up and up. It's still mostly Ecuadorians who bear the brunt of it. I feel horrible for them because they definitely get it worse. But I definitely know that there has been violent robberies now of expats here. Most of them don't want to talk about it. Like, I know of several. I know of two that I could literally talk about, but I won't in acquiescence to them asking me not to. So, and that's in the last 3 months. So 2 violent robberies of expats in Ecuador on the coast, very near where I live. So, kidnappings, those are also up. They've increased, not a huge amount because they were pretty bad before. They're not as effective as they used to be because just, you know, the people that you can kidnap have just figured out how to maybe not get kidnapped as much. They're being a lot more careful. And the people you can kidnap, they usually don't have the money to pay the kidnappers. So there's that. And that rolls right into vaccinations, which is extortion. Those are up as well. And I can tell you that it has definitely happened to expats and expat businesses. They don't like to talk about it either. They just want it to go away. Several people have told me, look, I started a business here and I always said, if I get vaccinated, I'm closing it up and I'm done. But not all of them kept up with that because sometimes the vaccination was just like, oh, I'll give you money right now and then I'll close up shop for a little while and then I'll open back. It's a mess. Okay, it's a mess. There is no rule of law. There's a little bit of rule of law. There's just enough. There's just enough to get by. Sicariato style killings, so assassinations of gangs on gang assassinations. Those are up. Those are happening a lot more. And the subsequent dismemberment of the bodies and hanging the parts where people can see them, like public parks or at the beach, that has also increased. So much so that you probably have seen it in the news. My son and my daughter have both sent me articles saying, "Hey, what the hell's going on?" You know, yeah. So it's dark. It's dark, man. It's real dark. Also, this new thing with massacres where they just like to go and just hose an entire room, or they go to a party and they kill everybody in there, or just spray the bullets. They don't care who they hit anymore. All right, they just don't care. And you know, they're getting kids, little kids is probably the worst part of it. Once again, not really happening that much to expats at all. But hey, you could get invited to one of those parties and go there and say, "Hey, I'm getting some local flavor. This is great." Yeah, but guess what happened? You know, have I heard that happening yet? No, but I can see it. Right? You can see it. It's not that big of a leap. It's not that big of a leap. Also, vehicle hijackings have increased, basically on these long, dark roads between cities. It's very profitable to run out into the road with a gun and tell people to pull over, and usually Ecuadorians will pull right over. They'll pull right over. Here you go. Here's all my stuff. You know, I understand it. I understand you don't want to get shot. No one wants to get shot. So that actually kind of goes into the fact that you can own a gun in Ecuador. It is not a super cumbersome thing. It isn't easy like it is where I come from to get a gun. It's very expensive here. Some of the guns I've seen for sale here that would sell in the U.S. for $300 or $400, if that. Most gun shops wouldn't carry them, actually. Those guns sell here for about $2,200. So they're not great. They're not great. They're Glock clones. The beauty of a Glock clone is even a Glock clone is kind of glocky. It's reliable. It usually fires when it's supposed to, and it holds a lot of bullets. So it's basically doubled the number of people who have applied for and received the ability to carry on their person a gun, which is, in my opinion, very good. It is still very expensive. It is a little bit of a pain in the butt. Yeah, you got to get a lawyer involved. But you know what? I mean, in my opinion, it's worth it. It's worth it. So when I talked about the referendum earlier, by the way, all the dark stuff is sort of out of the way. So there you go. You can feel better about it now, because the rest of it's going to be, what are they doing to make things better? A military base would have been nice, a U.S. military base. They were talking about putting 2 of them in Ecuador. That brings jobs, that brings all sorts of good stuff. But because it was Noboa's idea, and the people are mad at Noboa for not being able to serve up all his promises, they decided to vote against everything he said that we needed to do. That's what I talk about when I say Ecuador is punching itself in the nuts. So yeah, you taught him a lesson. you made your security even less, possible, unfortunately. The corruption in judges, police officers, military, they do continue to try and root it out. You do see where people get arrested every day and everything. Do a lot of them get fully prosecuted and put into prison? No. You still see judges letting other people go. It really depends on what the optics are and if anybody's paying attention. That's disgusting, but it's true. They are trying to do that. But like I said, I don't see a lot of real solutions. I do see a lot of political angling by the opposition to Noboa. They're like, we could do better, we could do this, we could do that. It's strangely, they're a little light on actual plans and what they could actually do. Everybody likes to criticize. No one likes to actually do something. So, yeah, I mean, do I think Noboa's amazing? No, he's probably not amazing. He's not amazing. He does some things really well, but damn, this stuff's pretty bad. And what you really need, and this is just my opinion, is a Bukele. You need a Bukele. And this country's not ready to give that kind of power to a single person. Well, Bukele took it, but that's what I'm saying. So that's why I say gonna get a lot darker before it gets lighter here. If you are considering coming here, can it be done safely? As long as you understand that you need to have a tolerance for risk, right? It's not a question of will it happen. It's when will it happen and how will I react? That is what you really need to know. You also need to know where in the country is it safe. Well, from month to month, that can change. But generally, smaller towns, not on the coast. Smaller towns in the Sierra, they tend to be some of the safest places. And I'm saying in the Sierra, I'm not saying in the Amazon. I know some people in the Amazon also having the same problem. And a lot of other places. I should start doing a map, right? I should start doing a map. Mike does a map. Yeah, Mike does a map. He does a really good job. He does a much better job than I do. If you don't know who Mike is, I'll put a link to his channel. He just changed his channel name. But man, he's got some great graphics and stuff. He has a lot of time to work on this. It's really nice. Me, you get me as is. You know, the only editing I do is, Matt, that was too dark. We should go back and do it again. That's all I do. So anyway, that's basically all I got for you. And I'm sorry it's a dark update. And go ahead, leave me some comments. Tell me how much it sucked. I don't care. I'll talk to you later.